It's Quant Trade Edge, and today is Sunday morning, January 5th. I wanted to go over this 4x pattern that we had on Friday in copper. And it was just a perfect textbook situation. I guess I shouldn't say perfect because the setup itself was not perfect on the daily, but on the intraday pattern it was perfect. And that was just that, we made a lower low and a lower high with a green body. So what that does is it ends this previous downtrend. Let me try to blow this up as big as possible. I know some of you are watching this on your phone. This is the daily chart of copper, and there is some lateral support here. So that's one thing that helps us believe that this may bottom at these tails. But down to the actual nitty-gritty of the trade, and you'll see that this is an uptrend. This is a downtrend, which is very simply defined as lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then this had a lower high, lower low, but it also had a green body. And one of the other things that made this a good setup was that on the 240-minute chart, which is a 4-hour chart, there were divergences. This push down, well, I guess this push down here and this push down here, you tagged a little bit lower, but you made a higher low. This was a higher low, so you would expect a higher low on the oscillator, but there's your divergence on the 240-minute chart. So getting back to the mechanics of the daily, once we take out the previous day high, assuming this has not taken out the low, if this has taken out the low, you would have an outside bar, which isn't what this strategy is about. This strategy is about catching the new daily wave as early as possible with a very low risk. So we don't know that it's a new uptrend until we take out this high. So that's what triggers us to start watching the lower time frame for a trigger. And a trigger is sometimes a hoagie, sometimes an ADC. There's a handful of patterns that work, but the ADC is the most common. So this is a 15-minute chart. That's the previous day high. We took it out at 7:45 in the morning, and then you can see very clearly this two-leg pattern. And this two-leg pattern makes this your risk bar, where you would buy above this with a stop below. And the size of this bar is 70.70, so that would mean 280 would be 4x, which is where the name of this trade comes from, is that it typically gives you 4 times your risk. So 280 on top of this is 408.10, and you achieved 408.10 at 11:15. So basically this amount of risk and this amount of reward, 4-to-1. Once it hit that level, it started consolidating. It may go higher on Monday or Sunday night. This is a decent looking consolidation, but a lot can change over the weekend as well. So I tend to like to get out of these on the same day, especially if it's a weekend. Now, what also made this special, and I'll take all these lines off to show you as clearly as possible, and that is, the one thing that is more art is picking the time frame in which to look for the ABC. This was a 15-minute chart. What was interesting about this pattern is if you were using a 10-minute chart, you got the exact same thing. And even the same risk bar of 70. If you were using a 5-minute chart, you had the exact same thing. This was an outside bar, so it continued, and it didn't take out the swing low, so it continues the uptrend. And that bar is also high to low. Okay, this bar is a little bit smaller. If you used a 5-minute, it was 65 instead of 70. Not significantly different. But what was nice about this is whether you were using a 5-minute, a 10-minute, a 15-minute, you got the exact same ABC and virtually the same risk bar from which to make 4x. So that's what made this a little bit unique, made it a little easier than usual. Sometimes you have a 5-minute pattern that fails, so you take a 1 hour loss, and then the 15-minute pattern works, so you make 4, so you net 3. But in this case, the 5, the 10, the 15 were all the same. So that's that's our flagship trade, and it all starts with what I call homework. And this is our Discord, and you'll see that for January 3rd, my second thing on the homework was HG 4x trade above PDH, prior day high. There is a 240-minute buy divergence playing out. So that was posted the night of January 2nd to prepare for January 3rd. And then within, we have a metals page here. Just gave a little update when it was starting to break out at 9:57. HG starting to move out of the 15 ABC. 408.10 is 4x. You don't have to wait for that. But that's pretty much what we do here. So, and started tracking it even earlier, saying we have an ABC on 5-minute HG. Now we need a setup bar. It's big and sloppy. I'm going to be selective. And that's why I moved up to the 15-minute time frame. So anyway, that's the type of trading we do on our Discord. If you are interested in that, click on the link and come join us.